It is Thursday, February 18th, a balmy 27 degrees outside with snow falling. Heater's been running all night in the greenhouse. Greenhouse is covered in a layer of snow, and the snow is starting to sound like rain. It's hitting the greenhouse so hard. So I received a request to teach someone how to propagate chrysanthemums, and frankly, there's no magic to it, but I'm going to run through what you need and how I do it. Heat's going to be coming on and off all day. So, first thing we'll worry about is our stock plants. You got to make sure you have a stock plant and you know the name of the variety that you're going to propagate, because it's very difficult to tell chrysanthemums without flowers what variety they are. So this is another series of stock plants that I started last year, kept them through the winter, and now I have some decent pieces that I can make cuttings with. You're going to need stakes or labels, 70% isopropyl alcohol, paper towels, good sharp shears, chopstick, a Sharpie. Sharpies are not what they used to be. They don't hold on to their color very long, and they're very sensitive to sunlight. Rooting hormone, your favorite. These are soft plants, so you don't need anything heavy duty. Paper towels, and a tweezer. So now, the proper way to do this, and very few people do it properly because it's such a long, annoying process. But the proper way to do this is to, for lack of a better phrase, sanitize your tools between plants. So yesterday this tool was working on elm trees. Today it'll be working on chrysanthemums. And then probably elms later on. There goes the heat again. So, when you make your selection for your cuttings on something like a chrysanthemum, for me, with my stock plants, I want to make sure the stock plant stays healthy. So I want to make sure the plant has at least 6 sets of leaves. And I like to go down and take something with at least 3 big, healthy leaves. And that's only because I'm doing it for the length, not because the leaves are important for the propagation, because they aren't. As a matter of fact, too many leaves can retard the production of your plants. So I have 4 cell packs here, so I just made, I think, 8 cuttings, unless my math is wrong. Then I make my cuts below a leaf node, because that's where the most undifferentiated cell tissue is, and that's where I'm most likely to be successful rooting a cutting. So again, I make the cut below a node, remove these leaves. Each of these leaves is a way for the plant to lose moisture, and the plant replaces moisture through its roots, and that's the one thing that these plants don't have. So you want to make sure that you maximize the plant's ability to conserve moisture. You could also try wilt-proof, which is something I rarely do on chrysanthemums, but will do on other plants, like a ficus or something like that. So I've got 4 cuttings done so far. It's number 5, number 6, and see, I told you I couldn't count. So I got 6 cuttings and 8 places to put them, so I need 2 more cuttings. This plant just happened to be very vigorous and productive. It's recently root pruned and up potted and given some fresh soil. So again, cut below the node, remove the big leaves. Now, if it's a little bit woody, you can snap it, and right where it snaps is a good place to try your cutting. I've also tried cuttings on super hardwood. Sometimes you get lucky, sometimes you don't. Alright, so next thing we do is we use our favorite rooting medium. For me, that is a combination of sand and Pro Mix. Plain old Pro Mix, nothing special. I don't need the BX. So, make your pilot hole. Then what you're supposed to do is you're supposed to take a small amount of your rooting hormone, place it not on your fingers because technically it's considered a carcinogen. So then you dip the ends of your cutting into the rooting hormone, tap off the excess, and then insert in your rooting medium. Okay, so dip and stick, dip and stick, dip and stick, and I really don't know how to count. I now have an extra cutting. Alright, so we'll double up on one of these guys. Then I want to firm up the soil around the cutting. You want it firm, but you don't want it like concrete. Now, I have generally experienced a better than 50% success rate on my cuttings. So, if I get someone who's looking for 10 cuttings, I try and make 20 of them, and then I don't have to worry about being 100% successful. Alright, so again, since we can't tell them apart until they have flowers, you need to make sure you write a label and then stick the label in your cell pack. Then what I like to do is when I have it available, and I do this after they've been set, I will hit them with some Super Thrive, and I'll do that on a fairly regular basis. And then they go on a propagation mat, and the propagation mat is a thermostatically controlled heat pad that's set to 70 degrees. So I really don't want to go any higher than that. Don't want to go below 60, and then that'll help induce roots. And in a couple weeks, the roots will be coming out of the bottom of these containers, and I'll be ready to either pack them up and ship them or put them in bigger pots and run them on for their flowers this year. Alright, so that's chrysanthemum propagation. Again, sanitize your tools, use your favorite rooting medium. I like to go with something that is boring as possible, sand and peat. Some Super Thrive, never hurt, and you have to frequently mist them so that they don't dry out completely on the heat mat. If you don't pay attention, you'll end up frying them. So, go out, propagate your plants.